it's a bit blacker than I thought it would be.
Okay.
But then again, you don't really know what someone's put in it last time. If they used the real Land Rover oil, or if they just found something at the local parts store. Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and if you're new to my channel, I hope you stick around and consider subscribing. I put new videos every week. There's always something new and interesting to watch here on the channel. Today we're out in my wife's 2006 supercharged Range Rover, and we're actually doing something that I've never done on this channel before. We're actually taking the car to a shop. Not because there's anything really wrong with it. I've talked about before, I want to do a transmission service, and the only place at home where I can fit this car is down in my barn. It is still really cold outside. It looks nice and sunny, but you can tell by the winter jacket that it's still freezing all the time. So I don't know, at the moment I don't really feel like laying on my back with the car up on axle stands, which is also, this is a very heavy car. I do have a high quality, very good axle stand that should handle it, but I don't feel comfortable getting under this car on axle stands while it's running to check transmission levels and service it. So I'm taking it to my friends over at English Car Care. We're there in a little bit. It's pretty close to where I live, and they specialize in everything that has to do with British cars. So I got the oil, I got the filter and everything. So they're just going to bring it up on their lift, drain the transmission, replace the filter, check the level, and hopefully transmission is going to be a little bit better. It's not extremely problematic, but we do have some small, some small transmission issues. So when it's cold, it's a little rough shifting. Sorry, the first time. All right, sorry about the reverse. There we go. It's a little rough shifting right away, but then once you've driven for 2 or 3 minutes, it's nice and smooth again, and there are no issues at all. You don't feel the upshifts at all when it's completely warm and like you're up on the highway or something. I did kick it down on the highway now just to feel how that felt, and you do feel those a little bit. So we're gonna see if that helps out. I do not know if it's been serviced before. Like I said, it's about 290,000 kilometers. It's like 175,000 miles, I believe, or I'll double check that. So it is a high mileage car. When I looked underneath when I got it, the transmission pan looked a little cleaner than everything else around it. It didn't look brand new, but it looks like it's been replaced at some point. You replace the whole pan when you do a service because the filter is built into the pan. So hopefully that is going to help it out. It does do another thing when it's cold as well. It has a locking torque converter, and it sort of can't decide if it's going to lock it or not lock it when it's cold. So we're gonna do a service of it, see what happens. I mean, it hasn't given me any errors or anything. It doesn't slip or anything like that, so hopefully it's gonna be fine. Otherwise, well, we're in the month here that we're gonna see a little bit what happens. It's due for an MOT in about 2 weeks, and after that we're gonna see sort of what I do with this car. My wife absolutely loves it, but we do have an agreement that if there's too much wrong with it at the MOT, and if we kind of find out it's a new transmission, then we're gonna see if we're gonna keep it and work on it, or if we're gonna sell it and find another one. But she's driven it now for about a month, I think, or a month and a half, and she's absolutely loved it. It hasn't really let her down at all. We haven't had any error messages or anything. It's actually been running really well. So after we service the transmission, we'll see how it goes. I'm also going to, like the title of this video, we're going to tally up everything and see how much it's cost so far to get this, the cheapest supercharged Range Rover for sale in the country at the moment when I got it, back on the road. So we're almost here at English Car Care. We're going to pull up. I'm a little bit early, but hopefully we can get the car in here, and hopefully we don't find a lot of debris down in the sump of the transmission. Alright, got the Range Rover up in the air now, and I've had a quick look underneath. It's actually a lot better than I even thought it would be. It looks very nice. See, exhaust under here. We've got a couple places I'm gonna like rust proof a little bit, right there, but we hit it with a hammer. It's completely solid. It's just some surface rust over there. We also had a look at the transmission drain pan, and it's definitely been replaced. It's a model one, but it's kind of dirty, so it hasn't been done recently, so probably it hasn't been done to cure an issue or something, just regular service. And we haven't found any oil leaks or anything, or any play in anything, so it seems to be a very solid car that managed to buy on street. So now we're gonna go out and drain the oil.
Start with draining this.
I'm hoping for no bits at least.
I don't think you'll find any bits in here. I've never seen one with chunks coming out of it. I've seen dirty oil, but never any bits of metal. Okay, but it's quite dirty. It's pretty dark.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be very light this stuff.
Yeah, it's a bit blacker than I thought it would be.
Okay.
But then again, you don't really know what someone's put in it last time. If they used the real Land Rover oil, or if they just found something at the local parts store.
That's true. All drained now.
It's drained,
And
you've got some nice
black stuff.
black-looking fluid in there.
Very thin, huh? And then it's basically just the bolts around here. And
I'm not sure, maybe about 20 or 25 or so Torx bolts.
I got new bolts with the new filter at least.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's actually really good. A lot of them come with that.
So let's just remove those and then we'll see what the filter looks like inside. Pan here.
There's your sump.
Alright, are those magnets?
Yeah, there is. There's magnets in the back.
But they're not that bad.
Nope. It actually looks very clean.
So they just maybe used I don't know.
If they didn't use the right oil, they didn't use enough of it. It seems like this.
It doesn't smell too burnt though.
It doesn't smell burnt at all.
It smells like
normal.
brown when the ATF turns brown in a regular transmission, but not when it goes black.
This smells fine.
This is really
The
good.
burnt smell, you would have smelled it as soon as I loosened that first bolt. It would have been nasty.
Yeah.
This is okay.
Perfect. Then I'll give you guys the new pan on the new oil. And then where do you fill it up?
There's a plug. I don't know if you can see it. It's right here where my finger is.
Alright. Perfect.
Fill plug there.
And then is there like a stand and then it pours out of the fill hole?
What you do is you fill it up when the car's not running until it comes out. Then you put the plug in. Then you start the car. Take the plug out again. Fill it again until it comes out, because then it starts sucking through the system.
Yeah.
And then you wait till it gets the right temperature. You run it through the gears a few times just to get everything flowing, and then you're done.
That's excellent. Well, I'll give you guys some new parts and let you get on with it. I won't disturb you anymore with the filming.
No worries.
I got the new filter in and put in some fluid, and I got to go for a ride. So I'm sitting up in the car, basically up in the ceiling on the lift. We got it running now, and he's just pumping in the rest of the fluid so we get up to the correct level. So I think I have to wait a little bit, and then he's going to probably tell me to cycle through the gears once it's warmed up. But you see it's up quite a bit already in temperature scale. It hasn't really cooled down that much.
Maybe even almost 4. That's quite a bit.
So
No, exactly. They just put it in until it ran out and just drove off.
so you said that before we started up, you got in about what we got out. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I got 2.5 in before we started, and then another 2.5 almost.
They haven't run it up and they haven't taken it through the gears.
No. There's your difference.
I think it's going to feel like a new car. Range Rover is back on the ground. He managed to get, I think it had 3 liters in that was in it, so it was definitely way too low. So hopefully it's going to be really nice and smooth now. And here we have the man himself, Steve here, English Car Care. Tell us a little about this place.
Well, English Car Care was started by myself at the end of 2004 for helping people with their English cars, of course, not only Jaguar and Land Rover, but also people with MG and Morgan, Triumph, or those sort of small sports cars that a lot of Swedish people use, only summertime. I discovered, having those sort of cars myself, that there was very little help if you needed something fixed on your car. So I thought, yeah, well, okay. At the time I was working at a Jaguar workshop, and I thought, yeah, let's see if we can help people with their cars. So that's how the idea came, and yeah, it sort of expanded from there. Here we are, many years later. And I don't know if Adam's shown in the workshop, but we have quite a selection of different English vehicles here at the moment. from a tiny little original Mini. There was an Austin Healey, a little frog eye, right up to the Range Rovers, and larger, there was a V12 Jaguar, which I took out earlier this morning.
Yeah, we can have a brief little pan around the workshop here. So what's left here right now, got that Morgan over there, got a little Mini, which I actually had a sit in because I've never sat in one. Got Freelander there, and we got one of my favorites over here. We got a Jensen, which definitely a dream car for me. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. Look at that red interior. Yeah, and some MGs and things over there. So now I'm gonna get in the car, go for a little drive, and hopefully it feels a lot better. Thanks a lot for the excellent service, and I'll give you guys a call if I notice a difference. I think there will be a big difference.
Please do let us know. I'd like to hear how much different it is now than with 4.5 extra liters of oil.
Yeah, thanks a lot for everything.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We're almost back at the house now, and the whole time driving back, this car really, it feels like a brand new car now with that transmission service. I can't believe it was running on such little fluid, which is a little scary. Thankfully, we did find a date mark on that filter. It was date marked in late 2018, so the manufacture date of the filter itself. And I believe it was like January 2020, this car had an MOT, and then it was just brought off the road and hasn't done really any mileage until my wife and I picked it up and drove it home, and she hasn't really driven almost anything at all. She has 10 minutes to work or 15 minutes to work, so it doesn't really do a lot of miles. So we found that it had pretty much, I mean, it's not the complete amount of fluid in the transmission. You don't get everything out, taking the pan out. You gotta do a flush to get everything out, but I'm a little anti-flush, but we might get into that in a different video. However, normally you probably find that you get, you know, between 4 and 5 liters out. We got 2.5 liters out when we dropped the pan, and to get the correct level, we put in almost 6. It was 5 and 3/4 of a liter, and to fill it up, and it feels great now. It shifts up and down really smoothly. It doesn't hesitate at all. Before it would hesitate a little bit on the lockup like we talked about. It doesn't do that at all. It's just rock steady. And also it's not as sensitive kicking down as it was before on the highway. So overall, it is just running, it's running great. And I think that we'll give this course a couple of weeks, just make sure that nothing, you know, really happens now with the transmission has the correct fluid level in it. But if it continues to behave like this, I think pretty soon we're going to have a look at the cosmetic things on this car and just try and make it look better. It already looks really, really good for its age. The guys at the shop there in his car care, they were very, very impressed with the car. I was able to find one like that cheaply, because remember, I paid sub $4,000 for this thing, and where I live, a car in this condition is at least double that. Even with a little bit of tiny rust on the rear arches, it's at least double that, and with no rust where I live, that's more than double that. So far, I'm very much in the green on this car, which is quite rare for an old Range Rover. But now we come to the most important thing. We're almost at my house, and as you see, I have a bunch of receipts here, and I've already tallied everything up. I've converted everything over to dollars just so it's easy to talk about. When I checked the people watching these videos, most of them are from the US. Most of you guys are from the US, so that's why I've chosen to convert it to dollars, just to make it easier. And I think around the world, everyone sort of seems to understand dollars. And there is the Daimler over there as well. I have all the receipts here, but I've already done all the math here and put it into categories, so hopefully it should be pretty easy to go through this. So the first thing we did to this car was the oil filter and oil and thermostat and the air filter, so just like a basic little service up there. $230 for all those parts. Then I did all the belts, all the idlers, and the tensioners. That was $268 for all the parts I replaced. Then I did brake hoses at the rear, both sides, and one caliper because that was sticking. And I did the pads in the back as well. So it was $133 for all of that. And then today there was the transmission filters. That's a whole pan and the filter in one. Fluid for that, which I used the original Land Rover specific fluid, which is a little pricey, but I want to use the correct fluid. And then the service work itself. So all that together was $340. So a grand total, really, for getting this car back on the road, all of that, is $971, which I think that's really cheap for all those parts. But then we have one more thing we haven't talked about. The car has new wheels and tires. So this car came on really, really terrible wheels that were curved and terrible, and yeah, the tires were pretty much just gone, and they were really cheap brand and the wrong size as well. So I ended up looking, and where I live we need winter tires, and winter tires are really expensive for these cars. So I actually ended up finding a set of these wheels with pretty much brand new winter tires on them, and I picked those up for about it was $1,177 if I convert it for those wheels and tires, which was a good deal, because if I were to just order the tires and fit those on the old wheels new, that would have been about $1,600. And I'm actually really, really happy with the look. My wife likes it as well. She got some compliments on the wheels, and it's at the shop. They really like those cool black wheels, so they will look very nice. I have picked out a set of wheels for the summer, which are at the shop that we're just at. I'm buying a set of them. Really, really nice, from a newer car. I think it's from a 2009 or 2010, but we just fit them on. They fit really well, have good tires on, but you have to see those in a future video. So if we count the grand total with the wheels and tires and everything, it comes out at $2,148, which I still think is not bad for an old luxury car like this. And I don't really want to call the wheels, count the wheels and tires, because that's just a wear and tear sort of item. I mean, you buy a used car, you're always expecting to put tires on, especially if you pick up a cheap one. Anyways, that's really it for the beginning here of the adventures with this Range Rover. There's a lot more, of course, that's going to happen to it. We're going to have a look at all the cosmetic things. There's some lights up front, which will faded. It's going to go in for its MOT, so who knows? Maybe something will fail there. Hopefully not, but if it does, we'll have to fix it here on the channel. Anyways, I hope you guys liked this video, though it was a little bit different. I went to a shop, which is something I've really never done before. This is the first time I've ever taken a car to a shop, but I really trust the guys there. And like I said, I did not feel like laying out in the cold in the barn under this car on jack stands when it's running, changing transmission fluid. I'm okay with lighter cars, like smaller jacks up on jack stands, but this big heavy thing, I don't want to be underneath it when it's running, and it felt nice and safe there over on the lift. But I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. And I'll put a link down below to English Car Care. So if you're local here in Sweden, you should go check them out. They do some excellent work on all kinds of British cars. Anyways, until next time, I'm Adam, and this was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.